Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to visit with a YouTuber named Christina Jordan, and the name of her video is Toxic People and Stress Equals Weight Gain. I hope you enjoy.
Hey, what's up everybody? Happy Monday. I wanted to take a minute and do a little motivational talk with you guys. There's people who just do absolutely amazing. Like they stay on track, they have great results, they're like super positive, and then there's people who they're just like, I'm not doing it, I'm not seeing results. They quit after like 5 days. And this is real, you guys. So I thought, there is a certain things that I see that one person does versus the other. And if you see yourself wandering over into the area where you're like, uh-oh, I'm doing the bad stuff, I'm doing the give up kind of person stuff, then swap back over to the other side and let's get you back on track, right? So the number one thing that I see the difference between someone who's very successful in their wellness, super successful in their weight loss versus people who give up very frequently. Like these are people that they just don't follow through, Why? So one of the number one things I see is that people who tend to give up a lot is they become very obsessive and neurotic about weighing themselves every day. That's right, the scale is they're a slave to the scale. They weigh every day. Sometimes they weigh 4 or 5 times a day. They become super obsessed with a number. They let the scale really decide if they're going to keep going or if they're going to give up or if they're going to indulge. So they will step on the scale after doing, giving their best, really focusing on health for 3 days, and the scale doesn't move as much as they would like. So they get really pissed off, they get sad, they get depressed, they get anxiety, and they go either two ways. Either they get super, super, super strict and they start fasting, or they get super upset, pissed, and they just simply give up and they'll go binge and go, well, I'm eating healthy and it's not working, so I might as well eat whatever I want. The thing is it is working. The scale is one of the worst things you can use to actually decide if you're doing well or not. The scale doesn't show if you gain muscle. The scale doesn't show if your hormones are off and you might be a little bit hormonal. The scale doesn't show that you could be dehydrated and that really wasn't fat loss, that was water weight that you lost. And so the truth is the scale is not the best indicator if you're doing healthy.
All right, confessional time. If you've been taking a look at the scale every single day and being a little obsessive about it, let us know down in the comments. And have you found yourself doing what Christina's talking about, where you either go on a fast and starve yourself, or you say, it's just not going to work, it's never going to work for me, hand me the Twinkies? Let us know down below.
Be like the person that does really well. They don't weigh themselves every day. They usually weigh maybe once a month at the beginning of the month and the end of the month. And what they do is they focus on following the lifestyle rather than a number on a piece of plastic appliance. So instead they'll look at this. Did I eat healthy today? Because let me tell you, you cannot do this program and not eat healthy. I'm sorry, but you have to make some positive changes. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to try and be persistent. So what does that look like? It looks like maybe instead of getting French fries with your chicken sandwich, you sub it and do a nice light salad. Or you skip the restaurant altogether and you pack your lunch. It's little things that add up to big results, you guys. Little things make big change, like make big results.
Kind of sounds like Kaizen, doesn't it? When I heard her talking about taking out the French fries from your chicken sandwich at lunch and maybe subbing in the salad, it reminded me of a talk that I had with you guys the other day, where I'm telling you, why don't you just have a burger and skip the fries and maybe take water instead of the soda? It sounds to me like Christina and I believe in a lot of the same things when it comes to long-term success.
And so number 2 is they focus on water. Are they drinking a lot of water? The people over on the I give up a lot side, they always have an excuse like, I don't have time, I can't drink water, I hate water. I hear it all the time. I usually find that those people give up really quickly. So if you're finding that you make those excuses of, I hate water, I don't like to drink this, change your conversation you're having with yourself, okay? So Another thing that I see that the people focus on who do really well is instead of weighing themselves every day, instead they look at how am I feeling? How's my energy? How's my mood? Am I being happier for my family? Am I being nicer to my spouse? Are little things not setting me off? Because your mood is a huge indication of actually balanced hormones and wellness. Another thing that I see is they're moving more. They're having more energy, so they're doing more. Another thing that I'm seeing is that they're like, wow, I'm actually enjoying eating more healthy food and I'm not craving all this negative stuff. The people who give up all the time, all they see is what they can't have, what they can't wear, what they can't do, whereas the people who tend to stay with it and stay on track and see amazing results don't look at that. They look at what they're gaining. They're like, wow, I can cross my legs now. Wow, this shirt used to not even come over my, tummy, and now it's like loose. They really focus on what they have and what they're going to achieve, not on what they don't have.
Gosh, I really love what she's saying. And when I heard the first couple minutes of this video, I was like, I have to share this with our venters. Guys, you remind me of what she's describing when it comes to somebody that succeeds. You guys are constantly being positive. You guys are constantly not caring that you only lost 1 or 2 pounds this week or this month. You're just moving forward. You're adding more time to your walks. You're drinking more water. You're starting to eat oatmeal, right? I'm just really impressed with what you guys are doing. I think you guys are displaying all the symptoms of somebody that's going to be successful long term when it comes to their weight. So congrats.
Takes me to point number 2. People who give up all the time, I see it all the time, they have the worst verbiage and verbal relationship with themselves. That's right, you heard it right. They talk mean to themselves and probably to others all the time. And sometimes they're the nicest people. Like they're super sweet to their family, they're super sweet to their friends, to their church, to their spouse, to their neighbors, to their dog, but they're mean as hell to themselves. And really, honestly, please hear this. What you say about yourself matters. And let me explain why. Your subconscious believes you. Scientific studies have proven that your subconscious, your words that you speak out of your mouth, it believes it. So if you constantly say, I'm lazy, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I can't stay on this track, I can't do this, blah, 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 wah, 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 right? Negative, negative, negative. Guess what? Your subconscious believes you. Swap those words for, you know what? I'm awesome. I'm energized. I'm beautiful. I'm fit. Stop saying you're fat. Start saying I'm fit.
This video is rather long of hers, and I would love to share the whole video with you because a lot of it is probably just as good as that first couple of minutes that we watched. But let's stop it there, guys. I firmly believe what she says. Whether you think you can or can't lose weight, you're probably right. So listen. Let's think positive. You guys are all doing so well. If you're brand new today, why don't you do me a favor? Go get your shoes. Let's go for a walk. Good morning. Morning, Venters. Hey, thank you for joining my Facebook group. About a half dozen of us are on there thus far. And if you're new to the channel and you think you're going to be a venter for a while, maybe contemplate joining our Facebook group where we can share pictures of our walks as well as our before and afters. And we can moan and complain about things not going our way while talking about things that do. So, again, if you want to join that with us, that's great. I'm seeing a ton of people walking today with their dogs and stuff, but that's cool. And I hope you guys are enjoying your walk wherever you are. Sean, you showed a picture of where you walk at, or at least a golf course in your area. Excuse me, my tongue is fat this morning. I just woke up. Rochelle, you sent a picture of where you've been walking. Absolutely gorgeous. You know, it's kind of a shame if you've never walked before. You might have an absolutely breathtaking area in your neighborhood where you can walk, and you've been avoiding that. So, Sean, I'm glad you shared that picture. Rochelle, thank you for sharing that picture. Guys, Stacy is on our Facebook group. Stacy is our walker that she has survived cancer, and she's thriving. She's lost over 140 pounds, and she is just a ball of positivity. She's on our Facebook group. So, yeah, if you don't mind, join that group. So I want to talk with you a little bit more about the butterfly effect and different routes that we take, because today is kind of an interesting day. Today is July 10th, right? It's July 11th for you guys, but July 10th is my ex-wife's birthday. And I've been divorced since 2007, so we're talking I'm pretty well into my divorced life, right? But for about 9 years of my life, well, probably 11 if you include the year or two before we were married, for 11 years of my life, this day signified a special day. Special from the standpoint of, you know, a lot of times I would take it off of work. A lot of times we would make huge plans on this day. Sometimes I would make secretive plans for my wife. And sometimes it just kind of came across as another birthday, right? But either way, today was one of those days where if I was still married, I would not be here walking with you. There's a chance that I would still be walking, right? But it would probably be without a camera. I always thought when I was married that my wife was a wonderful mom, and I still feel that way to this day. While I don't necessarily have the best relationship with my son, my ex-wife does. That might be part of the reason that I don't, but at the same time, I no longer really feel that way because my son is a 25-year-old man. So, you know, there's nothing holding him back from reaching out and talking with me, right? Or answering my pleas when I reach out to talk to him. So I don't blame that on his mom anymore. There was a time a couple years after our divorce where I kind of had those feelings, and those feelings might be justified or they might not. But the main thing is if you're divorced like I am, or if you've had exes like I have, which I'm sure we all have exes, right? We have these moments in life where it's like we could go one way or another. And after 8 or 9 years, me and my wife decided to split up. And you know, I think whenever people split up, they always say, hey, let's make this an amicable breakup, and you know, let's try to stay, you know, keep things copacetic for the sake of our son, you know. But sometimes goals like that are easier said than done. Sometimes it's really, really hard to have a friendly relationship with somebody when they're moving on and dating other people and you're moving on and dating other people, you know. But it is what it is. Happy birthday, Liz. Hey, good morning, sir. How are you? Even though he didn't say good morning back, he gave me a giant wave before that, so good for him. He's walking out here. Hey, that lady's here. Should I try to gain the courage today? Let's do it. I've got another walker here. Good morning, sir. How are you?
So far, so good.
Yeah,
Yourself?
good.
Good deal.
Hey, I have a channel on YouTube called Walk Talk Vent, and we see you walking all the time. So we just wanted to say hi and enjoy your walk.
Thank you very much. Back at you.
I love that you walk every day, just like me. So keep up the good work.
Yeah. Life or death.
Yeah. And here's another walker. Hi, good morning. She has her headphones on and she was actually conversing to somebody on a call. So we will eventually talk to her too. See if we can get her to become a venter. Here's a gal that likes to keep her street and sidewalk clean, doing the sweeping of the sidewalk. People used to do that on the regular, by the way. I don't look at that and say, oh, that looks bizarre, somebody sweeping the sidewalk or the street. People used to do that. I can remember when I was younger, my mom would go out to the front of the house and she would sweep the sidewalk. I think that people in this country used to view the country differently than we do now. Now we view it as the place where we were forced to grow up in, right? But once upon a time, we actually super duper appreciated this country. And it's kind of a shame that not everybody feels that way anymore. Whether you live in Canada, Europe, America, Asia, wherever, if you can love where you live enough to want to sweep the sidewalks, that's a good thing, you know? And by the way, I've seen her do that religiously. I haven't seen her in a while, but when she does that, she really gets into it. And sometimes people do things for reasons that you would never understand. You know, sometimes people have high stress and anxiety levels, and ironing your clothes can really help you, or sweeping your sidewalk can really help you, you know? One of the things that I've noticed is just my anxiety level and stuff and my stress level has really gone down with the more and more that I've kind of dove into my Walk Talk Vent channel. You know, it's hard to be down and negative when you have people saying so many positive comments. And like I said, you know, with a lot of other channels, you have people that'll comment about, you know, the host of a channel. You know, hey, we love your channel, and they get a bunch of thumbs up, and then other people reply, man, I discovered this channel and I love it too, right? But I feel like with our subscribers here, I feel like it's different. I feel like it's a club, you know, dare I say a family, right? Where we can all get together and we all know that although we never would have thought it before we started, we all love our walks. So if you're brand new and you're contemplating doing something and your friends want you to get a gym membership and there's a piece of you that wants to get into some sort of gym membership or some sort of this, that, and the other, you know, it might be as simple as just putting your shoes on and joining us for the next, you know, 3 or 4 months. And during that 3 or 4 months, you might just find that you don't want to leave and you want to keep talking with us and, you know, enjoying our company. That's what you get with this channel. You know, I know there's some of you that pop on and probably just watch, you know, the YouTuber or the person dieting at the beginning of the show. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And if you want to wait till after the heat of the summer to start walking, I don't think there's anything horribly wrong with that. But remember, we live in the now, and there's no better time to start a brand new walking routine than right now. And you're right, it's super duper hot outside, but you know what that means? That means that it's going to get cooler outside. As the rest of the year goes on, it's going to slowly but surely get cooler. I watched this Neil deGrasse Tyson video about 5-6 years ago, and he was talking about the longest day of the year. The longest day of the year, I think it usually lands in July or August or something to that effect, but it's basically the day where there's more sunlight hitting, you know, the earth than any other day. And he goes, a lot of times when people ask me about the hottest day of the year or the longest day of the year, they say, oh my God, it's going to start getting hot. And that's where Neil deGrasse Tyson goes, actually, that's the opposite. The longest day of the year means that from that point forward, it's going to start getting cooler out because the day is going to become shorter. So I'll Google when I get home, and maybe you guys have access to it if you want to share it in the comments, what the longest day of the year is. Because in theory, if today is the longest day of the year, that means you ought to start walking, because from this point on, the days are going to start getting shorter and the temperatures are going to start getting cooler. Now, I know it feels kind of silly to say that when you live in Arizona and you're going through a heat streak where every day is 115, but I think you guys know what I mean. You probably don't live in Arizona. Wherever you live, it is the summer, so it's probably warm. But at the same time, if you can kind of muscle your way out the door and start walking for 10 or 15 minutes here and there, guys, after 30 or 40 days, when it starts to legit cool down, you're going to be up to walking half an hour to 45 minutes, maybe longer. Did any of you guys take my advice yesterday and start walking at your lunch period? You might think to yourself, God, I don't want people staring at me. You want to know something? People will remark about it after you've been walking for 3 or 4 days. They'll say, hey, I've noticed you walk at lunch all the time. I don't think anyone's going to laugh at you for it. I don't think anyone's going to scoff at you for it, you know? I think when we see people doing things, a lot of times it tells us, hey, I thought I was the only one thinking about taking a walk at lunch. Hey, look at Betty is walking at lunch. I'm going to ask her if she wants a walking partner, you know? And you'll be surprised. Sometimes people don't necessarily want a walking partner. And the reason I say that is because some of us have such a stress level and such an anger level that we need to walk alone, you know? So don't be surprised if you walk by people and they kind of shy away from it. Sometimes people enjoy walking alone. That is their time. But at the same time, if you and Betty are best friends, you know, why not ask Betty, hey, I was thinking about starting to walk at lunch every day. Would you like to join me? And you want to know what'll happen? You and Betty will be out for walks, and after a couple of weeks, you'll start saying, hey, did you see the commercial for that new movie, you know, with such and such actor or actress? And Bobby will say, no, I haven't. And then pretty soon, she'll see that trailer along with you, and then who knows, you might have a fun little play date for that weekend to go out with your coworker Betty and watch a movie. Now, I'm describing two females there. I'm not saying go on walks and start asking people out on dates. We live in a society where we used to meet our partners at work, but we live in a world where that is frowned upon. And the last thing I want you to do is start walking at lunch and getting fired. So just know I'm talking more along the lines of friendship than, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend. And I'm sure you guys knew that. The main thing is if you can get a walking partner at work, that's a great place to get in shape. And then if you ever talk strategy with your coworker, you can say, hey, look, a lot of times we go to McDonald's and Burger King together. I want to try to lose some weight, and I figure if I can just walk for 20 minutes every lunch period each day, it'll help me walk off part of those calories, you know, where we're eating stuff from our lunch. I'm just a huge believer that when you think it's impossible to exercise, it's actually very possible. That's why I'm a little bit against people that aren't very good at going to the gym. I'm a little bit against them getting a gym membership. Do I want you to ultimately get a gym membership and go? Of course. But what I'd like you to do is crawl before you walk and walk before you run. And if we equate the gym membership to running, well, I think we need to crawl first. And the best way to crawl is just take walks around your neighborhood, walk at your lunch period at work. If you have absolutely no want for muscle, you just want to lose some weight in a nice, gracious, you know, smooth way, just walk at lunch, right? And walk before work. Let me tell you what you don't want to do. You don't want to start walking 30 minutes a day before work, then add 15 or 20 minutes during lunch at work and walking, right? And then start skipping your morning walk altogether for lunch walks. Because if you're going from 30 minutes and instead of bumping it up to 45 or 50 minutes a day, you're bumping it down to your 15-minute lunch walk, you're going to start to notice real quick that it doesn't have that much of an effect, right? Because a 15 or 20-minute walk, you're probably only killing, 25 to 45 calories, right? So again, it's a great way to help you walk off the meal that you just ate. And if you can work on that meal, get rid of the soda, drink water. And you want to know something, guys? I always tell you that when you go to McDonald's or something, eat the burger, ditch the fries and the soda, right? But the reality is, You know, even spending $6 or $7 on a Big Mac every day, while it's cheaper than buying the meal, God, it might really be better for you to go get yourself some whole grain bread, get yourself some good lunch meat from the deli, and it might be better for you just to make yourself a sandwich. Because if you can make a sandwich and it's only X amount of calories, that's going to be even better for you than eating that burger. And if your time is kind of crunched in the morning, in addition to walking, you got to drop off kids to school and stuff. Well, if that's the case, even just making your sandwich a couple times a week, you know, might really help the cause. All these little things are things that a lot of times other diet and exercise channels don't really talk about. You know, I hear a lot of the same talking points regurgitated a lot, right? It's all about calories in, it's all about calories out. It's all about eating carbs so you're not hungry. It's all about not eating carbs so that your body feeds off the fat. You know, it's all about this, it's all about that. And you know, one of the things that I found is that almost any diet and exercise plan works if you can just do it consistently. You guys are watching a video now of a gal that is giving you tips on how to stay consistent. But even within her tips, she's talking about how, hey, if you tell yourself you're going to work out 4 days a week, don't go 3 and then ditch that 4th day. You've got to make sure you stick to your goal. You've got to be consistent, right? My thinking is whenever you work out, unless you build your way up to it, you're always going to want to ditch the gym. That's considered a treat. Think about this. When you were at school and you had a half day, did you look at the half day as a punishment? Like, oh my God, I love school and I'm being punished and made to leave early, right? Or did you look at it as a gift, as a reward? I looked at half days like a gift and a reward. It didn't even feel like you were there for 3 or 4 hours because you were gone by 11 or noon. I absolutely loved half days, and you probably did too when you were in school. Well, in a weird way, that's kind of how I look at the gym. If you're constantly looking forward to taking a day off, you're basically treating gym like a half day at school. You can't wait till you can ditch a day. That's not a love, right? A love occurs when you go to the gym once or twice and then you realize, hey, I think I could start doing this 3 or 4 times a week in addition to my walk that I do every day. When you walk every day, you quickly realize, oh my God, Jesse's right. We were built to walk. I never ever walk and think, oh my God, I'm hungry. I'm craving Captain Crunch. Guys, when you walk, you don't think about food. But what happens when you go to the gym and work out hard? You're starving right when you get home, which makes sense. You just worked the heck out of your muscles, right? So again, are all exercises built equal? No, I don't think so. I have a feeling that when you walk, you'll be able to walk every single day and it's not going to make you hungry. And believe it or not, even when I finish my walk and go home, I'm not starving. A lot of times I'm able to just kind of eat my first meal whenever I start getting hungry. And a lot of times now it's closer to 10:30 or 11. You know, the other day, I think it was Imogen, I think you said that, hey, Jesse, I'm eating plain oatmeal with a little pinch of cinnamon. You know what, Imogen, you're eating that plain oatmeal. After you finish with it, I'm sure your stomach grumblings are probably done, right? And there's probably not a piece of you that says, hi, puppies. There's probably not a piece of you, Imogen, that says, I want another bowl of plain oatmeal. The reason we eat plain oatmeal is because not only does it take the hunger pangs away, not only does it make you feel energized, but you very rarely want to eat anymore. And Imogen, if you keep eating that plain oatmeal for breakfast, you're going to probably notice the same phenomenon that I do. That after a while, you're going to get to the point where you can take it or leave it. And when you can start ditching breakfast, not because you're fasting, not because you're starving yourself and restricting yourself, but when you can start ditching that breakfast simply because you don't need it, and you're not starving, that's when you start winning. Winning like carrying this 30-pound camera in your left hand, asking people to give you a thumbs up and subscribe. Yeah. I am so proud of this group. Love that you guys are walking every day. When you go out on your walk, take a picture of where you are. Go to our Facebook group and put your picture up. I'm telling you, it has an effect on other people. They see that, hey, I'm not the only fool out here walking. Because when you're the only person doing something, it's really easy to tell yourself, I'm wrong. If walking was so great, how come I'm the only one out here, right? But then you slowly start to realize, hey, there are other people that are walking. And you want to know something? They're walking every day. They're not walking once or twice a week, right? They're walking every single day. Now, there is a guy that I thought was walking every day, but I only see him once every couple of weeks. So there are people that legitimately start walking routines, but they quit them. And I don't want that to be you. Quitting your walking routine is actually just as easy, if not easier, than starting your walking routine. And it happens the same way it does with gym memberships. You start telling yourself, I can skip today, which you can, it's no big deal. But all of a sudden today becomes tomorrow, becomes the whole week, becomes the whole month, and before you know it, you're back to the starting spot, right? There's also a piece of your brain that's going to say, hey, I now know the recipe for success. I'm going to drink water. I'm going to start making plans at lunch to walk. I'm going to do this, that, and the other. But for right now, I'm going to quit because all I really needed out of this channel was the knowledge. If you're doing that, you're going down a slippery slope and you're going to end up quitting. What you need to do is apply the knowledge. Otherwise, the knowledge is just a book sitting on your shelf. You know, you need to get out here and walk. You need to notice when other venters are talking, like Lily. She's out there walking 4 or 5 miles a day consistently. Does she occasionally take a day off? Maybe. I don't have too many venters that said I didn't walk today. Usually, most venters are walking, and I have a feeling you guys are walking 7 days a week. Now, if I'm wrong and you guys have the courage and you want to say, Jesse, I'm only walking 4 days a week, you know, I'm not mad at you. Put it in the comments. Let us know. Because maybe what we could do is maybe we could apply baby steps to that, right? Maybe 4 days of walking a week can turn into 5, you know? But here's the thing that I will tell you. I don't want to sound defeated when I say this. But the reality is, if you absolutely hate walking, you know, maybe it's not for you. My thinking is that if you can walk with us for 2 or 3 weeks, you'll become addicted. In other words, you'll actually learn to like and ultimately love walking. But there's no such thing as everybody. So if you end up not liking it and you don't want to do this route, you know, I wish you luck whatever route you take. I would recommend swimming. I would recommend going to that gym, right? But again, remember our channel, because there might come a time in the future where you throw your hands up and say, I don't know what to do. I'm going to go back and check out Walk Talk Vent and start walking. We're going to be here for you. And believe it or not, there's going to be some people that walk, lose a ton of weight, and then they're going to fall prey to their brain and they're going to quit. And then a couple of months later, when they start regaining that weight, they'll probably come back. We will eventually have a person that comments and says, hey, I quit for a while, but I'm back and I'm ready to go, right? Those things happen in life. The main thing is, don't feel guilty. We all go through it. You're looking at a guy that has had half a dozen gym memberships through his life, and I've quit every single time, you know? I think whenever it comes time to renew a gym membership, it's real easy to say, I don't think I want to renew, you know? I'm hoping that this point going forward, I'll just keep my gym membership because I find that it's actually pretty fun to go to the gym when it's raining, or it's actually fun to go to the gym when it's hot, you know? So again, if you're new and it's hot and you don't really want to start yet, start anyway. You have to get used to telling your body, you know what, we're going to do it. And if you hate yourself for doing it and you absolutely can't and you absolutely need to wait till it cools down, then, so be it. I'm not going to be that annoying to you. My friend Jeff lives at this house right here. He is not Jeff from my childhood, just a gentleman named Jeff. And when I was walking a couple of years back at a certain time period, he would walk too. Since then, he's kind of quit. And one time I walked by here, I don't know if you guys remember, I videotaped it a couple months back. He actually had like an ambulance here. And I think he's taken a turn for the worse when it comes to his health. And I never see him outside walking anymore. And for all I know, he might not even be around anymore. I think he's there. I saw him after the ambulance situation, but he didn't really seem like he knew who the heck I was. So sometimes when we have heart attacks and strokes, it can have an effect on the memory and the whole 9 yards. But the main thing is if he would have been able to look into the future and see that, ambulance at his house, he probably would have kept up with his walks, And that's the thing. None of us has a crystal ball. So we can't really tell what's immediately in our future, but we also have a brain that reasons. And if you can get healthier tomorrow than you are today, and if today you could be a little bit healthier than you were yesterday, well, isn't it reasonable to assume that your future is going to be brighter rather than bleaker, So again, if you're overweight, if you know that people that have heart disease and stroke issues run in your family, right? Well, then instead of running away from it, you might want to put your shoes on and start walking with us. And let's see if we can keep the Grim Reaper away from our neighborhood for a little while, right? Let's see if we can keep him out of our lives. And the best way we can do that is to become the best version of ourselves that we possibly can. So again, stay positive. Know that these little goofy baby steps are actually huge, because all you have to do is multiply them out. If you skip the French fries every day at lunch, right? Those French fries alone are probably 200 or 300 calories, right? And you never get the small fry, you always get the large with the large soda. So every day you're literally drinking and eating something that's designed to make you heavier than you were the day before. So when you get rid of that soda, right? Maybe you're ready to get rid of the soda, or a smaller baby step would be going from the large soda to a medium size. But Jesse, the large soda costs the same. Well, you know what? Maybe they're trying to get you to get addicted to your daily lunch. Bob, quit eating that soda, and you'll quickly see that your weight starts to become under control. I don't think it takes long either. I'm telling you, you ought to experiment just for fun. Cut that soda down to water, eat the same lunch you do, and at the end of the month, you might just be a pound or two lighter, And if you're not, I would still do it. You're saving your teeth. Gosh, I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of people with teeth issues, and they're miserable. And some of you might have dentures or might have implants now. If you can remember back to when you had teeth issues, weren't those miserable? Those are not fun days. I'll tell you what, there's certain things in life that even if you enjoy them, tooth pain will keep you away from them. Have you ever had a toothache that's so bad that every time you walk or move, it throbs? Well, you think you're going to want to take a 2-hour walk when you're dealing with a toothache? So you got to protect your teeth and stuff. There's so many things in the world that'll make it where you don't take a walk. And believe it or not, one of these days in the future, you're going to catch the flu, you're going to break an ankle or something, and you're going to take time off of your walk. What I'm hoping that you'll do at that point is I'm hoping that you'll buy into the 2/3 rule, so that even though you're not walking, you still feel like you're moving in a positive direction. So imagine this. Imagine you're literally down with a sprained ankle and you can't walk for a whole month. It's just a severe strained ankle, right? Sprained ankle. But imagine during that month you're avoiding sugar completely and you're drinking water. And then at the end of the month, when you start walking again, imagine a situation where you didn't gain any weight. So now you add walking to it and you go right back to the life that you had. Don't be like I was, where all of a sudden you start thinking, oh my God, life is horrible. Give me a donut. Yes, that donut and that one too, you know. Be positive. Stay positive. You got this. We got this. We're going to do it together. So again, you're on day 26. That's amazing. Battery change. But Jesse, I've been walking for 2 months with you, and I went from 205 to 199. Why is this going so slow? Well, think about it like this. 2 months ago, you were in a completely different season. You weighed 205, and you were probably gaining, right? You were getting ready to turn 206 in the weight category, right? Now, fast forward 2 months to today. Now, Bob, you're 199. You've got a walking routine set. You're eating and drinking better than ever. And now the scale is starting to tip in the right direction and go downward for you. Now you're not chubby 205 you. Now you're streamlined 199 you. And now you're going towards 195. So stay positive. You are making good movements in the right direction. All of us are. So stay positive. Join the Facebook group. If today is your day off, just because I'm stopping walking, that's because I'm going into work. If I didn't have any work, I would probably go to the gym and walk for another 45 minutes, okay? Stay on the track. Do an extra lap. That's how easy it is to acquire extra credit. And when you're doing extra credit, by golly, tell us in the comments so other people join you. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you tomorrow.